By their restless efforts and dedication over the past 4 years, Blackpink has now grown to the brightest stardom of the world. They're now not only recognized for the badass music, but also for the well-invested music videos. Ever since day one, Blackpink has never failed to impress viewers with high-quality and monumental scenes. That's why it's nothing new to see the view counting tools on YouTube literally went out of order every time Blackpink released a new MV. Recently, the topic of why Blackpink's MVs always receive so much love and anticipation suddenly went viral on Knet. Of all the opinions, the one that got the most likes said that since YG's production team has always tried to limit the use of CGI and enhance the use of real background, that's what makes fans satisfied with a real visual party. So Hyung-sung, the director that has participated in producing most of Blackpink's MVs, believes that such an approach would generate the maximum attractiveness for the MV. To prove how spectacular the sets used in the MVs are, a netizen had collected all the photos of some settings and instruments used in some scenes that just lasted for a few seconds. From what she posted, it's clear that all the surreal settings that many had thought to be made out of CGI were actually manually constructed, despite being costlier. For example, in the Do 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 MV, YG decided to build a spectacular, powerful platform just to have them on screen for some seconds. To give out the powerful vibe, the platform was made of a special material that mimics the texture of cement, but it still had to be tough enough to safely carry the girls at a height of 2 meters from the ground, so it was for sure very expensive to build. And you remember the chessboard and bling bling tank of Jennie? They were also what exists in real life instead of just some computer-generated images. Firstly, for the chessboard scene, of course YG could just build that jet black stairs for Jennie and let technologies take on the rest. Yet, since they wanted to give out the most authentic vibe possible, the company decided to build everything from scratch. Moreover, if you look closely, you will see that the chess pieces were made with high sophistication. Not only were the details carefully crafted, but the material was also chosen to mimic that of real pieces. And look at that chessboard. There is no way it only costs a penny or two, because the surface looks expensively shiny. For the bling bling tank scene, the investment was brought to another level because this tank not only required a huge budget, but also tons of manual work. To build such a piece of art, YG needed to create a safe, solid frame first to carry Jennie. The instrument wouldn't take too many materials to build, it still consumed tons of money because this tank needed to function as well, with the help of real engineers. If you watch the MV, you must have seen how smoothly the tank operated, from the way the wheels roll and the turret rotates back and forth. As if building such a realistic tank was not impressive enough, YG took a step further to turn it into a moving disco ball. Such a thing could hardly be done by machines. The production team must have spent hours to glue each of those blings onto the tank's surface. Ending the MV, Blackpink not only impressed people when having a powerful dance break, but also with the glorious settings. Since the girls didn't have any interaction with the background, literally everyone believed that it was CGI. However, since YG's hobby is to send out that authentic vibe in every single MV, they again opted to actually construct this colorful, sophisticated entrance. Coming to the Kill This Love MV, literally all jaws dropped when seeing the love trap was actually built in real life. From this point of view, it's clear that the scale of this set was really no joke. The love trap we see here was not only massive, but also made with high precision. It's certain that the team must have put in so much effort because to move such a huge instrument around the studio and to easily dispose of it after the MV, they needed to look for light enough materials like polymer or foam. However, since traps are often made of iron, which creates sharpness, the team had to make such a lightweight material like foam look sharp too. Another impressive thing about this set was the dusty, rocky ground. To have such a realistic look indoors, lots of money and labor were poured into just building the ground. In fact, though barely anyone would pay attention to that bottom part, because of course they were busy admiring the girls' visuals, but still, YG is a perfectionist and always wanted to give out the best possible product. The second most impressive scene in this MV was when the entrance was blown up right behind Blackpink. Though the background is often recorded multiple times because of spontaneous errors, the fact that this scene was related to the destruction of instruments and YG still decided to conduct it had a huge implication about their perfectionism. Not just blowing up the entrance, YG also built a huge statue of a head just to lay it on the ground. Never accepting the halfway type of work, YG invested in everything to help them best convey the message. Many fans agree that YG has made everything as sophisticated as in a Hollywood movie. As the meaning of Kill This Love was about the courage to end what hurts you, when the lyrics went, "Let's kill this love," YG blew up the entrance to portray the disposing of a toxic relationship. Instead of using CGI to both reduce cost and ensure the safety of Blackpink, YG opted for the other choice for the sake of expressing the authenticity of each scene. It's not enough to say that YG only invested lots of money in the MVs because, in fact, the company also invested tons of labor, time, and took on lots of risks to lay out the perfect music products. Another setting that converged all of these investments was the opening scene of Jennie. For the dreamy, light-dim background, the production team had to use a super high-quality projector to mimic the real sky instead of a green screen for that. For the pair of yin and yang swans, those smooth, realistic feathers are crafted detailedly. Plus, to convey the message that love has made Jennie fall down from heaven, she had to truly hang herself up high instead of using CGI to complete the scene. Again, YG proves that they only take the hardest options to create the best results. All the later MVs of Blackpink, like How You Like That and Ice Cream, were also heavily invested by YG. For example, this winter set has absolutely nothing to do with CGI. Everything was real, even the movement of those mechanics behind. The same effort was also poured into the Ice Cream MV. The production team literally created a whole neighborhood for Blackpink. Not only is everything real, you can also see YG really paid attention to small details. Look at those ice cream-shaped windows. Not just having only houses, the surroundings were also built with high sophistication. There were well-cared lawns, flower gardens, pathways, and the sky with clouds. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, since Blackpink's MVs were often directed by So Hyung-sung, the director of many other creative MVs like Fantastic Baby, I Am the Best, the fact that there are real constructed sets and instruments in the girls' MVs is no longer something new to fans. Yet, since Blackpink always leveled up their MV in each comeback, no one has ever gotten bored of watching and discussing. That's the end of this video. Oh, and if you know where those instruments were brought after everything is wrapped, please comment down below to let us know. Do you think YG should build a museum and put all the instruments in there and then have fans coming to visit? Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share this video to help motivate us to create more great content. Thank you for watching.